excited to launch a business, but you are afraid to do it? Do you ask yourself, am I really ready to do this? Have you got a dream in your heart to launch a business, to launch a platform, but keep coming up against resistance? Today on The Possibility Mom, we are going to be exploring why every entrepreneur should launch before they are ready. Today, I am tackling the topic of launching before you are ready, because let me tell you, this is something that I have struggled with for years. This notion of being ready, this notion of having to have all my ducks in a row. I struggle with perfectionism. I struggle with feeling like there is a outside standard that I have to meet. I struggle with imposter syndrome, and it has been a journey, let me tell you, a journey of um, coaching and self-discovery and more coaching to really understand that you are never really ready. So that is what we are tackling today in this podcast. I've got a special invitation for you if you would like to take the next step at the very end of this podcast. But let us begin. Why launch before you are ready? There are so many reasons why I believe so strongly that a person should launch before they are ready, because it really begins with this. Somebody out there define ready. Somebody out there, literally, give me the definition of what it means to be ready. Because what I argue is that you are never really ready. I've been doing this for a long time. I was in interior design for many years, building a business. And then in the more recent years, selling my book and launching coaching. And my coaching practice, my goodness, has evolved and shifted quite a bit over the last 2 years, and more specifically in the last year, as I have leaned more and more into what it means to be a Catholic coach, and the difference, the nuance, the difference in content and in language that happens with that. And also my own belief in my ability to do that. I have chatted on this podcast that I did not want to call myself a Catholic coach because of the baggage that came with that, the responsibility that came with that. So long story short, I really just believe that you can tweak a page, you can change the copy, you can hire all the experts. In fact, I did all those things. I hired people where it cost me $5,000 a funnel. I hired a team once where I was paying over $1,000 a month to do basically not a lot, because I didn't give them the content that they needed to do it. Like, you are never really ready, and it's not those things. We're going to unpack this in this podcast and in future podcasts for sure. It's not those things. It's not the funnels, it's not the graphic design, it's not the copy, it's not the courses that you've taken to some extent that gets you ready. It's you. Like, you are the linchpin, the gatekeeper, the what have you. I have seen myself and other entrepreneurs and women that I've coached spend a lot of money on the construction of the funnel, but no belief in themselves, and the launch doesn't really work out. But then I've seen the opposite, where someone has so much belief, so much confidence, and they launch with PayPal. They launch with a text-based landing page, and they have success. I'll never forget when I was first launching my book and my very first coaching product. It was, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was $497. I don't even think I had a page for it. Like, I think I just had some text on a blog. Like it was like a blog site, basically a blog entry back in the day when blogging was more a thing, and with a PayPal button, like literally here to complete your purchase, I'm going to send you a PayPal link. I don't even think there was a button. I think you had to manually email me to say that you were in, and I had no idea what I was doing. I remember it was all in Google Sheets. I delivered the content live week by week. I was creating it as I was going. Anyway, it was all kinds of scrappy. But and I would say I definitely was not ready, like, meaning there was no page, there were no emails, there was just determination, I would say, curiosity if it would work, and a passion, obviously, for helping those moms. And I think I had 6 people, that very first cohort who joined me in coaching. I think I had 6 people who were willing to take a chance on my belief, on my lack of fancy professional pages, on all that kind of stuff. So, define ready, honestly. If somebody wants to define it for me, feel free. But like, I don't think there really is a time when you are really ready. I don't think I feel ready. You know what I mean? Like sitting here right now, I have um changed my business quite a bit. I still ask myself the question all the time of, am I really ready to do this? Am I really ready to scale? Am I really ready to get to this next level? The answer is no in my head, but if I listened to that voice, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. And so that's the first thing I want to argue, that why launch before you're ready? Because I don't think anyone is really ever ready. The second thing that I think is important in this conversation is that launching gets you clarity. You know, just before jumping on this call, or on this episode, I was chatting with my husband and another dear friend, and we were talking about the concept of creating content in a niche that you really care about. And I this is a hill I will die on, that the act of creating content can be so valuable for you clarifying your voice. You'll see many of the beautiful women that I have coached. I'm going to name a few of them: Janae Franco, Yashi Carrington. Those two immediately come to mind. One of my suggestions was to develop some kind of a live show experience. They both took that concept and ran with it. And the content these women have provided to their audiences is enormously valuable. And what creating content, what launching does is it gives you clarity on the kind of the things that really fire you up. It gives you clarity on exactly how you want to solve those problems. It also gives you a place where you can direct someone. When a client or a potential client says, "Oh man, I'm really struggling with this," you can say, "I really want to point you towards a podcast that I recorded on blank." And that is so invaluable, to have intellectual property that is truly unique and out of your head, even if you're referencing other people's content, but you are arranging that for your audience. You are bringing that together for your people in a unique, customized way that is so you. That is going to give you enormous clarity on who you serve, how you want to serve them, what you like doing, what gives you life. And it's just, I can't say enough about it. And then, of course, launching increases your belief. Entrepreneurship, in my humble opinion, is kind of like having a baby. And let me just expand on this a little bit. So, I have a beautiful group coaching experience called Wealth Without Guilt that I love so, so, so much. It gives me so much life. And it has really become like it's I have a lot of belief in it. I have a lot of confidence in it. I cannot wait until there are hundreds and thousands of women in this program. I have so much belief in the unique lens that I am bringing to business coaching, especially with the inclusion of Jesus at the center of your business activity. And what I see in different communities, what I see sometimes in my clients in the beginning of course, a lack of belief, and it's natural. But and where it connects to having a baby, is that I see a lot of questions about the how. Well, how do I send an email sequence? Well, how do I create a copy that converts? How do I house the material in a way that my audience can get it? How do I write this script for my webinar? How? And it's important to ask the how. Absolutely. And it's important to get training in the how. Because as I have shared many times in this podcast, the action line, right? So the how line of a coaching model or just the like action steps without belief, without the right mindset can live perpetually as a to-do list. And here is where it relates to babies. So you can read all the books about babies. Okay. I remember when I was preparing to have my first child, like I actually intentionally avoided the books because they overwhelmed me. You can read all the blog posts, you can go into all the Facebook forums, you can do all the things to prepare for motherhood. But nothing prepares you truly like holding your child. Like and what that is like. You know, I've heard people say like even working in a daycare that it's just so different when you have your own baby. And so I really just believe that the how, while valuable, like you need to ask the questions of how do you do this? The how is actually learned by experience, the same way that you become a more confident mom, not by a book. You become a more confident mom by having proof that you can keep a child alive and that your child is going to be okay. And that is like business. You increase your belief by just doing it, by doing it, by surviving it, by evaluating it. And I know that is very challenging for a choleric like me who loves to control things. For you melancholics out there who love perfection, this is going to be so challenging for you. I totally get it. But you have to believe me when I say that the act of getting into action, the act of launching is the thing that will help you increase in this belief. Okay, so number one, why launch before you're ready? Because who is ever really ready? I've been in business for almost 15 years and I would still say I'm not ready. Launching gets you clarity and launching increases your belief. Number two, what do you do when you don't have that? When you don't have this confidence, when you don't have this belief? Well, I want to point you towards a couple of very practical things. Oh my gosh, as my all my windows are open in my bedroom because it's just rain and it's beautiful and the wind 100% knocked over a lamp. That was alarming. Okay, we're fine. All is fine. So, when confidence lacks, I want to give you a couple of very practical suggestions. And the first one is to rely on the confidence of others. A resource I want to point you to is a platform and a book called Unique Ability. And Unique Ability was created by Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach. Strategic Coach has coaching programs all over the United States and Canada. If I'm not mistaken, at time of recording, Dan Sullivan lived in or lives in Toronto, Canada. He was actually not that far from where I lived, but I found that out way after the fact. Anyway, so this whole book has an exercise, and I mentioned this in my book, The Possibility Mom. But Unique Ability has an exercise where you reach out to, I think it's like 20 people in your life. I forget, they suggest a number. But you ask the question, what do you think I am uniquely gifted at? What do you think my unique ability is? And you let them respond. And I think the way that they frame it is ask people for 5 words to describe your unique ability. And I remember when I did this, I was going through this time. It was right after my minivan meltdown, right in the time of writing The Possibility Mom and fixing my life and exploring all the things. I was so shocked at what people said about me. I remember just really feeling like, this is how you all see me and what you think my unique ability is. And so at the time, I thought my unique ability was truly in like leadership and artistry, like being an interior designer, being on television, all that kind of stuff. And the number one word that came back from everybody I polled, and it was different permutations of this word, it was different sort of like nuances to this, but the number one thing that people came back with was empathy. That my unique ability was how empathetic I was. And I remember looking at it and being like, my friends don't know me at all. Like I just was like, you all think that this is what is unique about me. And I remember the same thing happened when I did Strengths Finder. My number one natural strength is empathy. I remember looking at the thing in disbelief and just being like, how is this me? But why this is so valuable is that you're getting, first of all, an outsider's perspective, which is always going to be really helpful, right? We can never view ourselves the way that other people view us, but it gives you this unique lens on who you are and what is special about you. And I argue that can really help you view yourself with greater confidence. Polling others and relying on the confidence that other people have in you can be a very, very helpful tool. So, practical step number one is to consult this resource, unique ability. Maybe run this yourself. You could even do this on social media, and just see what comes back, and allow that to help fill in the gaps where maybe your own confidence lacks. Okay, so that's number one. Second practical step on what to do when confidence lacks is to just do it anyways. And I know this sounds so simple and perhaps just like a bit of a cop out, if you will, but I promise you it's not, because similar to my point number one, the act of getting into action is what is going to give you more competence, which, as my friend January Donovan of the Women's School constantly says, breeds confidence. Competence breeds confidence. And so do it anyway. And when you really feel like you can't do it anyway, we can pray for the virtue of courage, number one. But I also want people to look at the virtue of magnanimity. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what are the virtues? The virtues show up at several points in the Bible. Forgive me. I want to say it's Romans. It's in Romans and it's in Corinthians. Um, Actually, here, I could probably pull it up really quick. I was creating slides for my Wealth Without Guilt group coaching experience, and I know I just happen to have these close at hand. So these virtues are in the Bible. Oh no, I'm mixing them up with spiritual gifts. Wait a minute. Am I? Yeah, I'm mixing them up with spiritual gifts. But anyway, regardless, they're similar. But my point is that there are virtues that we can access. There are I'm using the words interchangeably, but I don't think it's correct to use them interchangeably, is it? I don't know. Maybe it is. I think you could use spiritual gifts and virtues interchangeably. Anyway, the spiritual gifts are in the Bible a few times, and I'm going to just pull up where they are because I do think it is helpful in this conversation. So you can find them in the Bible in Romans 12, 1 Corinthians 12, and Ephesians 4. And what is very interesting about this is that we don't, your spiritual gifts, we don't choose. And they are really meant for the benefit of others. And one such, I'm definitely interchanging words right now, but anyway, just keep going with me. Is magnanimity. So magnanimity is a virtue, and it is a beautiful virtue. And I want to read a definition of magnanimity. So magnanimity, or sometimes referred to as great-heartedness, and I'm looking at a book right now, The Willpower Advantage. The virtue of great-heartedness or magnanimity is the habit of knowing that you are called to do great things and daring to do them with confidence. It is the virtue of great hearts and great minds who seek to achieve good and noble ends. The ancient world highly esteemed this virtue, and when someone did something heroic and selfless, people would say, of course, that person has a great heart. The Athenian philosophers admired magnanimity as evidence of a virtuous life, calling it the crown of virtue. The Stoics held it as the virtue benefiting great people. And I just, it's just so beautiful. For the Christian, the virtue of great heartedness begins in knowing that you have been created by God in his image. This is the source of your dignity. Even on a purely biological level, you are amazing. Even with all the shortcomings you may have, all the knocks you may have received along the way, you can say with Psalm 139, I am wondrously made. I want to encourage you when confidence lacks, when courage lacks, to pray for the virtue of magnanimity. It will help you enormously. And apologies, everybody, on the mix up of interchanging spiritual gifts and virtues in its definition. I'm always keeping it real here. Always keeping it real here, always learning more. So, number one, we got to launch before we're ready. Number two, what to do when this confidence lacks. And number three, instead of focusing on being ready, I want you to focus on belief. And it might sound like I'm being redundant, but it is so the core of what I'm talking about. This belief in you. And it's related to magnanimity, but it's also very related to a unique call that God has for you. This is something that I spend the entire first module of Wealth Without Guilt, my group coaching experience, exploring. That you have been called based on your unique strength, spiritual gifts, based on your unique natural strengths, based on your natural temperament, and based on your personal story. That there is a very unique call, a very unique mission to a unique group of people that you are meant to minister to. And the faster we can get you there, like the faster that we can get you to not worry about what other people think, not worry about being an imposter, not worry about other people are doing this, and just focus on that unique call that God has placed in your life, the faster I think everything sort of gets unlocked. The money, the opportunities, excuse me, the people, the impact on the world that can be made possible. And this is why I think, to be frank, like just to be transparent, why I have so much belief in Wealth Without Guilt, because that's what I'm seeing. I see it in myself. It's making me cry. I don't know why. Like I see it in myself. I see it in my people. The more we get to the core of your unique God-given identity. And isn't this what we all want? Isn't this what we all want? Like, do we not want to feel like we are known and understood, and that we are called for something great, and that something great is going to be like so unique? Do we not all want this level of intimacy, I guess, with ourselves, with our creator, where we can say with confidence, this is what I'm called to do with my time? I think when we can get to this place of confidence, and not to say that you're never going to have doubt, that you're never going to have times where you're like, oh my gosh, Lord, what are you doing with my life? Like, I have those moments all the time, but you're able to recalibrate and come back to this central place of deep belief that this is my mission. John Henry Newman, he has this beautiful prayer of I have a unique mission. I have been called to something, and I will do it. I'm paraphrasing horribly, but he has a beautiful prayer. Go look it up. So that's really it. I want to keep this really short and sweet. Um This you've got to start before you're ready. Jordan says here, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sharing magnanimity with everyone, and that done is better than purpose." Absolutely. Belief keeps your business sustainable. Belief attracts your ideal clients. Belief helps you pivot when you need to. Amen. Abigail says, "I need to ask for magnanimity virtue." Amen. Absolutely. And you know, everything has a mindset and a skill set component, and nothing is more true than this in entrepreneurship. I spent so much of my entrepreneurial journey focusing on the how and wanting to get the how perfect. I took so many courses on funnels, so many courses on um, copy, so many courses on um, creating an offer that will attract. So I could honestly, like, and I know I've shared this. I have spent probably at this point now up to $100,000 in online learning, thinking that with every purchase it was going to be the thing that changed my business. And what really changed my business, what really unlocked things for me, was belief. And this is what I want for you too. So there's a mindset and a skill set aspect. This belief has to be there. That's the mindset piece. But of course, there's a skill set piece. And I want to invite you into something really, really fun that I'm so excited about. On Tuesday, November 9th, so just in a few days, I am hosting a half day workshop. Going to be teaching it live. There will be a recording where you, if you can't make it live, totally fine. Where I'm going to teach how you can get an offer together in time for Black Friday 2021. And this is going to be the kind of thing where if you have been scared to launch, you're going to get unscared or I'm going to help you. Where if you don't even know where to begin, like, how do I even, you know, do this, like steps, like from A to Z, like, you are going to be given the steps. You are going to be given copy. You are going to be given um the how to do it, even if you don't want to invest in tech. We're going to look at how you can house a product, if it's a virtual or a digital product, in a Facebook group, how you can use a simple thing like PayPal that doesn't have to cost you very much money. You know, how you can get that all set up so that you can launch in as little as 2.5 weeks. I think Black Friday is a wonderful time of year where people are excited to shop, where people are excited to shop not only for other people, but also open up their wallets for something for themselves. And if you have ever had an idea that it's been just sitting in your head and you are just so excited but have so much fear and lack of confidence, this is the workshop for you. Okay. It is not an expensive workshop. It is a $97 workshop where I will give you my 15 years of experience on how to craft an offer that will get you going. We're going to launch scrappy. We're going to launch before you're ready. I'm going to teach you how to launch, even if you do not have a product right now and want to deliver on that product in January, for example. One of my Wealth Without Guilt members is launching something in time for Black Friday, but isn't going to actually deliver the program until January. I have coached many a woman in the exact same thing, starting out scrappy. I love this word. Starting out scrappy is going to get you closer to where you want to go than if you just stay in discernment mode and planning forever. All right. This is the live workshop for you. If you do not want to have your idea remain on the shelf on your computer or the shelf on your brain. You're going to have some accountability. You're going to have a deadline. You're going to have the mindset support, the encouragement. We are going to work together in this live workshop to get you launched. And my goal for this workshop is that you recoup your $97 investment with this workshop, like with your Black Friday sale. Like you just do it. Like just do it. So question from somebody on Facebook, are these organic launches? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by an organic launch. But essentially, we're going to do this for Black Friday. I'm going to encourage you to launch it on Black Friday with specific branding around Black Friday. So this is a Black Friday sale. And share that very clearly with your audience. But it is certainly something that you could use again in the future. And the whole point is that you have got now, for those of you who have never launched a product or a service, that you now have the framework to evaluate and do it again and make it better every time. And for those of you who have an existing product, this is a great way for you to just create a little bit of urgency, a little bit of a cash infusion. And I teach you how to do that with copy and with a great offer. This really is for people who want to launch, like, meaning, you know, you are scared, you think you can't do this, you've got a bunch of kids at home, you don't think you have time. I'm going to give you literally a schedule for what to do between November 9, next Tuesday, and Black Friday, which is the 26th of November. It is literally just over or almost exactly 2.5 weeks. And I'm going to give you literally the calendar of what to do. And I just promise you that it's going to be the kind of exercise, the kind of activity that will get you closer to your goal than not doing anything at all. That is a guarantee that I can 100% make. If you do the work, you are going to be closer to your goal of a business than you would if you did nothing between now and Black Friday. You can grab your ticket. Like I said, this is a $97 workshop. To join me in Wealth Without Guilt, it's $19.97. This gives you a great taste at a great price point for my mindset and skill set coaching. And I just honestly think you are going to love it. And I want to encourage you to grab your ticket at the link in the show notes. And if you have any questions about it at all, I would be so happy to answer your questions. DM me on Instagram, or of course, leave me a comment wherever you are watching this, on Facebook or on YouTube. Or if you are listening on your favorite podcast app, DM me on Instagram. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. Alrighty, why launch before you're ready? The world needs you. I mean, I really think that's like at the heart of it, really. God has given you a specific audience to touch with your specific story, with your specific message, with your unique charism, with your unique personality. There is a very specific group of people that you are meant to touch, and we are robbing that group of people by being afraid. And here's the other thing: ungodly self-reliance. Of course you're afraid. We're all afraid if we're going to do this alone. You can't do this alone. You are 100% in getting trained with me. You are 100% going to invite the Holy Spirit, going to invite God into this launch. And I would love to hold your hand and support you as we all do that. This is all stuff I need for myself. PS, just PS. Just FYI, this is all stuff I absolutely need for myself on the regular. You've heard me say it here before. I typically create content when I need it myself. And so we are just linking arms and doing this together. And I'm so excited to do this with you. Alrighty, friends, we will see you. For those of you who can join me on this workshop, we'll see you on Tuesday. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. So great to spend some time with you.